Honestly, what I'm doing here makes absolutely no sense because I keep making all these fake apartments in The Sims. It's just coming from a place of excitement about the new pack, but that's the thing, the new pack comes out in less than a month. So in a few weeks, I'm gonna be able to make real apartments, and when it releases, I'm gonna wanna just build new apartments. I'm not gonna go back and edit the ones that I'm doing now. So all of these fake apartment builds are essentially a giant waste of all of our time, but that's okay, right? Like, we're all excited about this, right? So anyway, today we're gonna build another fake apartment building in The Sims 4. But first, I wanna show you a couple things The Sims has been sharing on social media, because they've actually posted a couple teasers about the new pack. These aren't like full trailers or anything, they're really short, they're both like 30 seconds long. So in this first one, they show off some of the cast content, and it says, with 5 new traits and 4 new aspirations, your sim can be the best or worst property owner or tenant in The Sims 4 for rent. And then it's just got some cast footage and some trait footage in it, and they kind of show some of the new animations and stuff. And this is fun because we can see a lot of the cast items for the first time. We're seeing like a closer up look at the clothing they're wearing and the hairstyles they have. Because in the trailer they posted originally, we could see some of the cast stuff, but a lot of times the Sims are quite far away and very small, so you can't really see or get a good look at anything. In this video, we can see a lot more. We can see some really beautiful hairs, there's a new tattoo, lots of accessories like necklaces and bracelets and stuff that I'm seeing, and obviously we can see those traits listed again. Also, a couple things for toddlers and children that I've been noticing, and that hair, hold on, let me go back. That hair is so cute. I'm really excited about this. I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not super interested in cast content like ever. I never really see cast stuff and think like, oh my god, this is life-changing. I'm more interested in building, but I do genuinely like all of the stuff that they've shown us here in this video. There is a slightly more exciting video though. In this post, they say multi-units galore. With the new tool, you can build your next property in any livable world. We're talking townhomes, duplexes, in-law suites, condos, dormitories, and more with The Sims 4 for rent. Stupid name, never gonna get over that. But in this video, they show off a lot of the build tools from these apartments and the different kinds of things that you can build. So they're basically giving a lot of examples of different places you can make apartments, different kinds of apartments, and different sizes. So we saw 2 units, we saw 3 units. This one is 4 units of townhouses, and it goes all the way up to 6. So they show off a building that has 6 units total in it, which is way more than I was expecting. When I was guessing how many apartments we could build in one lot, I was thinking like maybe 3, maybe 5, but 6 is a lot. So I'm really, really pleased by that. And then Simguru Ninja tweeted something about like, it might be 6 is the limit, but not if you're using cheats. So we don't really know what that means yet and like what the cheated limit will be, but it sounds like you can make maybe more than 6 units on just one lot. And I think this video in general is really cool because it gives you some more examples of the different kinds of things that you can make with this, you know, like these duplexes, we've got like very tiny apartment complexes, the townhouses, and it answers a lot of questions that people had about like, can you build them in different worlds? Can you make them multi-story? Can you have them not be touching and have like separate space in between them? And this just shows off all of that. And I think it's also kind of cool to show off the pack being used with other packs. Like in this is using university stuff. So it's kind of an interesting idea. It's like prompting us like, oh, you could make, you know, student housing with this pack if you wanted to. It's just kind of showing it in different lights, and I really like that they did that. This video was very exciting to me when I saw it yesterday, so I wanted to make sure I shared it with you first. And also, if you're not on Twitter and you missed this content this week, don't worry, I am also not on Twitter, so I also don't see these things, but you can find it on like their Instagram and their TikTok. They put it in their Discord server too, so they're trying to share this information out quite broadly nowadays. So hopefully if you're involved on at least one of those platforms, you can follow them and see this stuff more easily. But anyway, that is my little update about the new pack news. And now I want to jump back into the game and actually start building. So unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, this is not using any new pack content or anything. It is purely pretend. It's a fake apartment building. And when I say fake apartment or pretend apartment, what I mean by that is it's just a regular house. Like as far as The Sims is concerned, this is just a regular lot. It's a regular plain old residential lot. Obviously, as we know, currently there's no distinction between these sorts of units. You can't really build apartments yet. We will be able to in like 4 weeks, but we can't do it yet. So if you wanted to use this build right now, you kind of have to use your imagination a little bit, because you could have Sims live here, but like it doesn't really do anything special. It's just a regular house. Whereas in the future, my hope is that we can like block off the other units so you can only see yours and like play in it as though it's a real functional apartment. For now, we simply cannot do that. So in this case, this is gonna be a 2-unit, very tiny apartment building. It's not like a big giant apartment complex or anything. The units themselves are quite small. Upstairs, there's 1 bedroom, and downstairs, there's 2 bedrooms. This isn't like a big family house. It's more of like a Sim lives here with their cat sort of house, because it's so small. And I was trying to make this kind of interestingly shaped. So you can see I'm doing a bit of experimenting right now with like weird entryways and weird hallways and stuff. Ignore that, it'll change. But basically there's like a side door to both of these, and one of them you have to take the walk up upstairs. The other one is just downstairs, and they have kind of like a shared porch space out here. They also have a shared backyard space that's kind of like a big back patio. And then I built this in Copperdale. That's the world that came with high school years, and this is the lot where a starter home usually sits. I bulldozed that and I built this here instead. I like this area for building stuff like this because it's sort of like a small town downtown area. So it's the kind of place you might expect to see a small like 2-unit apartment building. Well, honestly, it's the kind of place you'd expect to see like a shop with an apartment over it. We still can't do that in The Sims, and I'm more excited about building multi-unit apartments, so that's what I did here. But I thought it kind of fit into this world pretty easily. And I actually built this on the day the trailer came out, so I was really excited. I was like unbelievably excited when I was building this. There were a few things that kind of lessened my excitement. Number one, the stupid stair glitch. I don't know how many of you have also experienced this, but ever since they did that stair railing update to try and make the railings not glitch, they've made the railings glitch more. So sometimes, like in the case of this building, I've got a staircase outside and I keep trying to put a railing onto it so it looks like there's a railing going up the stairs, and when I place the railing, you just can't see it. It shows like the railing post at the top and bottom, but there's no railing in between. It's just not visible. And it's placed, it's paid for, it's there, you just can't see it, which defeats the whole purpose because you obviously want to have a visible railing for things like this. You don't need a railing functionally, I just want it to look like it's there. And I don't really understand how to fix it. So I'll tell you a couple of things that I've tried to troubleshoot with this, both inside and outside. This is the first time that I've had this railing problem outdoors. So that was kind of a new issue for me. I've had the railing issue inside the house before, and I've noticed that it mostly causes problems when the railing is up against a wall. Even when it's just on one side, the railing is mostly an issue when there's walls involved. And I think what was happening here with this build is it was counting the edge of the foundation kind of like a wall. So because I had it right there up against the edge, it was just having a not visible railing. I tried a lot of things. I kept trying to like reload the lot or like reload the game and see if that was gonna fix it. It wasn't working. I did manage to fix it by just extending out the foundation. So what I ended up doing is putting like a 2-tile walkway next to the staircase, and then you can see the railing again. But when it was up against the edge like this, it doesn't work. So you'll see me fix it later on in the video. But yeah, I just wanted to warn you that I too am having that problem. And if you are having issues fixing it, well, I'm sorry. Most of the time, I don't know how to fix it either. I don't know how to fix it either. So when it happens inside, I haven't had much luck fixing it. So I'm really sorry that I can't be of much help to you, but I just wanted to point it out in case. And you can see at this point, the build is kind of coming along a bit more. We have like the floor plans laid out and we're kind of figuring out the shapes of the exterior. I really like the patio on this house because I feel like on this lot in particular, it'd be kind of weird to have a backyard because it's like all on this deck. I think it makes more sense to have it be like raised and have it still be wooden or something. And so I tried to do that here too. And so they've got kind of like a shared patio back there. I ended up putting a hot tub and like some grill stuff back there. And then the inside of the house ends up being very colorful and very pastel, which I'm kind of excited about. I'm actually really proud of this house. I'm hopeful that when the pack comes out, I'll be able to really easily edit it to make it be a functional apartment. Obviously, we don't really know how the apartments are going to work yet, but I'm thinking there's probably gonna be some really easy way to like select rooms and then have this room, and that room all be one unit or something. And so I'm hopeful that it'll be easy for us to make this work as like a real apartment when the game comes out. And one of the other big concerns that I saw a lot about the apartments was based on the original trailer. People were wondering like, how is it gonna work? What's gonna be like the way you differentiate the different rooms and how do you set the front doors? And people were worried that there was gonna be like some sort of weird, maybe you had to use a certain door for it to be an apartment or something like that. But when they showed that teaser yesterday with like more of the apartment building, those used a ton of different kinds of doors. So that was a huge relief to me because when I first saw the trailer, I was like, uh-oh, do you have to only use like one certain kind of door? But I'm wondering if there's like maybe a doormat or like some sort of thing. I guess you could probably just click on the front door and say, oh, this is the front door, but we just don't know how it works yet. So we're all kind of just guessing at the moment. If any of you are watching this video in the future, post the pack coming out, you're probably just laughing at us. You're laughing at how we're all just guessing right now about all these things, but it's very exciting and also kind of scary at the same time for us, okay? So we're talking, we're trying to figure it out. And speaking of figuring it out, as I'm watching this back right now, I'm almost embarrassed at how long it took me to figure out the exterior of this. It was sort of a work in progress. There was a lot of trial and error happening here with the build. I wasn't really 100% sure what I wanted it to be like when I was first making it, so that's why it took me so long to figure out the shape. But watching it back, I'm like, wow, this is embarrassing. I spent so long just adjusting walls and staircases. It's so funny when I have this like beautiful 2-unit apartment. Like there's 2 apartments in here, and I still spent more time doing like the front yard than the interiors. But the interiors come a lot more naturally. It's way harder to figure out the shape. You know, the shape is the hard part, and then once the shape is done, the inside is easy. Well, anyway, while I sit here and try and figure out the landscaping, I do have a couple little life updates for you. I kind of like to use these speed builds almost like a little podcast, because there's just, you know, there's only so much I can say about a Sims house, okay? So if we're gonna sit here, I might as well update you on things that are going on in my real life, and there's not much to say. I went to my grandparents' house in Illinois last weekend, which is always kind of an ordeal to get up to, because they live kind of in the middle of nowhere, which is okay, but it's sort of a process to like get on the plane and then get a rental car and then drive multiple hours from the airport to their house and everything. But I went there for my grandpa's 91st birthday. So that was kind of fun. It's always good to see them and stuff. It's just hard to get up there, so it's nice when we get a chance. My whole family goes. So it's just kind of fun. We all hung out together and stuff up there. Dan stayed behind because he had a lot of work to do, but also he was trying to babysit all the kittens, and so he was sending me like very frequent cat update photos, thankfully, because I'm too attached and it was very hard for me to go away for a couple days. The cats have all been sleeping on my bed with me. This is really fun for me because Snap, my older cat, she's 15, she's not really one to sleep in the bed the whole night. She's more of like a put me to bed kind of gal. And I'm really not exaggerating when I say that. Like, she puts me to bed every night. When it gets to be about bedtime, or at least when she determines it should be bedtime, she'll start trying to get me to follow her into the bedroom. And then she'll go and sit on my bed and scream at me until I come to bed. Cause I'll be like standing in the bathroom and I can see the edge of my bed from my bathroom sink. Like, I'm kind of staring at her from there. So I'm like brushing my teeth, getting ready, and she's just sat there on the edge of the bed screaming at me. So I just look over and there's Snap demanding I get into bed. And then I come, I lay down, and she kind of curls up and sleeps in my arm for like an hour, hour and a half. She usually leaves about like midnight or 1 a.m. depending on the day. And then she'll come back again in the morning, but she doesn't usually stay in the bed the whole night. I actually don't really know what she does all night. Oftentimes I'll wake up and like her toys are in different places and stuff, so I know she's been busy. But she doesn't sleep in the bed overnight usually. But Shrimp, one of my new kittens, he does not put me to bed and he doesn't fall asleep in the bed, but I wake up in the middle of the night and there's a cat next to me. Or like my alarm will go off in the morning and there's a cat next to me and I don't even notice him come in, but he's there when I wake up. He is very needy, this kitten. He likes to be around and like kind of touching you. He'll want to be like on the couch next to you. He'll want to be on the bed next to you. He wants to follow me to the bathroom, but not like how a lot of cats will follow you to the bathroom because they want to like watch and protect you, because a lot of cats pick up on that. But no, this cat, he just wants to get into my bathroom drawers. That's it. When he sees me going to the bathroom, he will run after me and come with me, and then he'll go and sit in front of the bathroom vanity or like sit on the counter and just stare at the drawer, because he's learned that I keep a scrunchie in the drawer in my bathroom counter, because when I wash my face I'll like tie my hair back for a second. So now he's noticed the scrunchie is in there and he wants it, so he'll come and like wait for me to open the drawer so he can try and steal it. And he is so quick. Like, in the time that it takes me to open the drawer and like get my toothpaste out or something, I'll leave it open for a second and all of a sudden he runs in, jumps up, grabs it in his mouth, jumps down and runs away. He like carries it off. And it's okay because it's just a scrunchie. Like, you have to be kind of worried about cats with regular hair ties because they're quite small and they might break and they could choke on them. But this is a big scrunchie, so he's not gonna choke on it. But I need it. He can't just keep stealing it from me. And then his sister is also needy, but like sort of in a different way, which is kind of interesting to see how they've been evolving as they're growing up. The kittens are both like 5 months old, by the way. I found them in a sewer. I've made videos on that before if you want to go back and watch them, but anyway, they're 5 months old now. And his sister Sunny, she is very needy, but not in like a cuddly way. Like, she doesn't really cuddle at all. She'll never sleep on the couch with me. She doesn't sleep on the bed, but she likes to be around me at all times. But she'll be like on her cat tree, or like sitting here on this cat tree, sitting on my desk, you know, but she doesn't want to sit on the couch or on the bed or like next to you, just in the room in the general vicinity. And usually when I get off stream and come back downstairs, because I stream for like 3 hours every night, you would think that I have been gone at work for 12 hours straight or something based on how these cats act. But I'll come downstairs and she will follow me everywhere I go, and she's so affectionate. She's like rubbing up against your legs, and when I get in the shower she starts screaming because she wants to come into the shower to be near me, but she like can't because she's scared of the water. So she just sits there. She comes in the shower. It's kind of big, the shower, because we renovated it. It used to be this really really weird, like giant, like step down twice cave behind a half wall sort of thing. And now it's like sort of big and wide and has a glass door. And so basically she can come into the shower but not get wet because there's like some parts of the tile where no water sprays because it's too far away. So she'll come in there and sit like just on the edge, as close as she can get without getting wet, and then just yell because she wants me to get out of the shower because I think maybe she's scared of it or something. I don't know. But she's very attentive, basically. These cats are both very interesting. It's been very fun for me to like see their different personalities develop because obviously like I love Snap so much. She is like my best friend, has been my whole life, but she's 15, so I don't really remember her kitten years that well because I was so young, and I guess I'm just so used to her behavior, and I associate like what Snap does is just what any cat does because that's the cat I'm used to. So it's been so interesting to compare her and the babies and like how the babies are changing and growing up. But anyway, I will stop talking about my kittens. I could sit here and talk about cats all day. I am currently at this point of the video decorating the upstairs unit. This apartment up here is supposed to be 1 bedroom. It's a 1 bed, 1 bath apartment, and this sim has a dog. It's also like very pink and green. Like the whole thing is kind of that color scheme, and I really liked it. I used a lot of really fun pastel colors everywhere. The Sims 4 has been thriving with the pastels recently. A lot of the past few packs have had so many more pastels. It's like they finally realized that we hated all those vibrant colors from the base game, and they were like, okay, we'll do the opposite, and we've gotten so many nice pastels. It's fun to have this many more pastel pinks because a lot of the base game stuff has that like horrible magenta color, and it's just not the vibe. Like, it's fine, it works for some things, but in this house, like that vibrant purpley pink magenta thing, it just wouldn't work here. The pastel pink and the pastel minty green, that's the vibe, and it looks so good. I'm kind of dressed for the occasion today. I put on all pink. I got my lights pink behind me for it. I didn't really think too much about storyline for these Sims other than just that one of them has a dog. Sometimes I try to invent like, oh, the Sim who lives here is a writer and they've got an office, but I was kind of just like, oh, the Sim who lives here likes pink. So that's sort of the main story that's going on in here. It's open for interpretation for you if you want to play in it. How about that? And then downstairs, which we're almost getting to, the whole storyline is just this Sim has a baby. It's a bedroom and then a nursery, and that was kind of the whole vibes. There are a couple other nice little, I guess, sort of hidden features of this build too. Like there's a ladder that will access the roof from here. I didn't end up putting anything on the rooftop because it was quite flat and it was only a ladder, and I didn't really want to have like furniture up there with no walls around it. It didn't really seem safe, but I did put access to it in case you wanted to use it for something, because you could probably have your Sims living here have like a rooftop party or something along those lines if you wanted. For such a small house on such a small lot, there's actually a lot of outdoor space combined between like the deck and the upstairs balcony and the rooftop, so that's pretty good. I feel like I made the most out of what I had to work with. And then downstairs, we're finally working on the inside of this second unit. This one has also a very pastel color scheme, but it's more of a yellow and blue. I was kind of inspired by the wallpapers that came in the new Home Chef Hustle kit, and I was sort of pulling color scheme from the tile. This, I think, is my favorite tile they have ever added to the game. I love it so much. I think that cute tile is the best thing they have ever made. They need to make more tile backsplashes because we don't really have all that many of them. I guess we do have quite a few, but I use them so much that it doesn't feel like there's that many. You could say the same thing for almost every single item in this game though. We need more of a lot of things because I use them so often that it feels like I've used it a million times. I will always want more. There's never going to be enough options. There's never going to be enough swatches. I just will always want more. And I guess I could easily remedy that if I started using more custom content in my videos. But the thing is, I prefer to use no custom content in my builds because I prefer for these things to be a little bit more easily downloadable by you all. And obviously that's not really the case when I'm using like a million packs because most people don't have this many packs. But when you use custom content, it adds like a whole extra element into it because I have to like try and link everything, or if you're playing on console, you can't even get it off the gallery at all if there's CC in it. At least the pack content is a little bit more attainable in that way because like people on console can get it if they want to, whereas like CC is impossible on console. And also not using mods in my builds kind of just makes things a little bit easier to follow, so hopefully it's maybe slightly more tutorial-y for you all. I'm not really making tutorial content in this video obviously, but I prefer for my build videos to be a little bit easy to replicate if you would like to, because that's how I learned to start building when I was a kid, watching Sims 3 YouTube videos, and I never had like any CC back then. I did eventually, but not when I was first starting out. I was like 10, I wasn't getting any mods. I didn't even know what that was. I also wasn't good at building because I was 10. Not that 10-year-olds can't be good at building. It's just that I wasn't. I possessed no talent back then. I was building big giant squares and putting like everything I could think of in them. I would use money cheats and then just put like all the cool stuff, all the most expensive cool stuff in one big giant square. And I would like barely even make a floor plan. There wouldn't be a roof. Like it was, yeah, I wasn't very good. Times have changed a lot since then, huh? I've grown and changed a lot. In general, my playstyle of The Sims has changed so much too. I used to like never let my Sims die. I would only ever play for like 1 or 2 generations and then stop before the Sim died. I would get builds off the gallery and like furnish myself, but not really build them. And it's so funny because now it's like the complete opposite. I honestly prefer doing exteriors over interiors most of the time. Like I would have built this and not furnished it and had plenty of fun. Not that I don't like furnishing, I just like if I had to pick, I would prefer to build the exterior over the interior. And that's why I'm so excited for the apartment pack, because I love apartments, but I don't so much want to decorate an apartment. I more just want to have apartments and make the building of the apartment. And I guess play in apartments. I want to play in an apartment too, but I don't know. I care more about building, so I'm really excited about it. And now all my Sims die, so that's fun. On my Twitch channel, I have this legacy challenge that I've been playing for a really long time. I'm actually on the 18th, now 19th generation of this family, which I don't mean to intimidate you with. It's like you can still watch, obviously, because you don't need to have seen the whole thing to be caught up, because like even I can't name those original Sims, so don't worry if you haven't seen it. In The Sims, basically each generation is kind of like a new series anyway, and I'm just starting a new one, by the way, if you want to come by and watch it on my Twitch channel. The new baby was just born, so we're kind of like freshly into this new era of the game. So I'll link my Twitch streams down below, but I've been playing the Not So Berry challenge for 8 generations now, and before that I did 10 regular generations. And so I've got a lot of Sims that have been in this save. A lot of Sims have come and gone over the years, basically. And so I have a bit of a grave collection going. In fact, in total, I have 271 graves in my Sims front yard. I just sort of line them all up. My goal is to fill the entire yard with only graves. I want to have like a tiny house and then all graves everywhere. But there's sort of a combination of Sims that I've actually known, my Sims pets, because over the years I've played 18 generations, so I've had a lot of Sims. There's a lot of like distant relatives, and like I've probably had like 30 pets or something by this point. And then I also kind of started like collecting graves, because you know when you go to the bar and like some random elder townie dies, I bring their grave home. Or you go to visit the land grabs and Nancy and Jeffrey are dead, so I bring their graves home. And I've just been doing that for a long time, so I've kind of just been collecting all of the graves that I find in the save, and now I have 271, most of which I was not involved in the deaths of directly. Most of them, they sort of had their own issues. Some of them were my fault, but not all. Anyway, we are pretty much done with the build now, so what I want to do is pop into the game and give you a live tour of the finished product. So I built this in Copperdale, and it's on this lot, this Town Square Terrace lot in the downtown area. This is what the original lot looks like. So you can see I kind of was taking inspiration a little bit from like the other shells in this area when I was building it. And on the gallery, it's called the Town Square Duplex, which, by the way, I've never noticed how beautiful the background of this world is, but like look at how pretty that is. It's about 95,000 simoleons, and like I said, it uses an offensive amount of packs. So for that, I'm really sorry. I swear I will do some like base game apartments soon because I owe you. But this is what the finished building looks like. It's not very complicated on the outside, I don't think. It's kind of just like a square, much like these buildings are. But when you first walk up, I put in this area kind of a couple little decorative objects. Like I put this tree, and I used these things. These are support beams from Cottage Living, and I put it there in the corner so I could have a fence around it with it going up against the edge of the lot, because annoyingly you can't put fences on the edge. It doesn't let you, so I used those instead. Around the side we have a couple mailboxes right here, and those definitely do not function. I'm pretty sure your Sims cannot get to them. But it looks better that way, so I put them there anyway. You might want to get a real mailbox like over here or something if you were going to play here. This is sort of like the front porch area for the downstairs unit, so they have a couple little plants, they've got some rocking chairs, and then when you come inside the house, there's like a tiny little entryway right here. They've got a place for their stuff to go. They've got some mail on the wall, and they have a small dining nook right here. And when you come forward, they have a small living room as well. Oh no, ignore that. There's a water glass. Okay, let me get rid of it, hold on. This is their kitchen. It's kind of got that blue and yellow color scheme I was talking about. They also have a stand mixer if you wanted to do some baking. And then down this way, we have a small hallway, and that'll lead you to the nursery, which kind of has this cute pink color scheme going on. I really like this wallpaper. It's from the Decor to the Max kit, but I used it here in the nursery. It's very small, so there isn't much in here. And then the nursery has a shared like Jack and Jill bathroom with the other bedroom. Also quite small, just got the basics in it. And this is that other bedroom, the primary bedroom. They've got their bed and like a little office nook over here. And that is the whole downstairs unit. And then when you go up these stairs over here, the upstairs area has kind of their own little patio space as well. They've got a chess table, they've got a dog doormat, they've got a little bench and stuff. And then when you come in here, you also walk into kind of a little entryway space right here. They've got some storage for their things. To the left, we have a small living room with like a pink and green color scheme. They've got a dining room area and a bookshelf and also a very small kitchen. It's a lot smaller upstairs, so they've got a little bit less going on. They have their dog bowl right here, and then down this way, they have a small bathroom. They only have a tub and no shower, which is kind of annoying, but that's okay. It looks cuter this way. And then they have a bedroom too, and I think this is my favorite of the two units. I like this one a lot, and I like how small it is. One of the things I complain the most about with the Sims 4 like city living apartments is how they're too big, and so I can't wait to make my own small apartments. I'm so excited. And then when you come downstairs, in the way back, we have kind of our trash cans hidden right here, and in the back we've got a small grill and like a little table set up. We have some lounge chairs and also a hot tub, so we've got all the necessities down here, and that is the finished building. So I hope that you enjoyed this one. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, because as soon as we get any more news about future updates and future pack content, like about the new upcoming expansion pack, I will let you know. And also I owe you a base game apartment, so I will make one soon, because I'm feeling kind of bad about how many packs this one has. But again, thank you for watching, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. I cannot believe we still have to wait a month for this pack. It's all I have been thinking about. I want to build apartments so bad. This is probably the most excited I've ever been for a Sims pack. I know I keep saying that, but with this one, oh my God.